Back at MetLife Stadium, 40-degree day. A little chilly, but not too rough considering it's the day before Christmas. 6-mile-per-hour winds. Phillip Rivers has already got a win in this stadium this season when the Chargers came in and beat the Giants for their first win of the season after starting the year 0-4. Chargers are now 7-7. Bryce Petty and the Jets 5-9, a 31-19 loss in New Orleans last week. They were down 17-13 in the fourth quarter, and then things slipped away. Anthony Lynn spent 6 years as an assistant coach with the New York Jets, running back coach, eventually moving up under Rex Ryan. And Todd Bowles was a coach with Lynn back in their Dallas days under Bill Parcells. Very close friendship. They stay in touch throughout the season. Jets won the toss. They've deferred to the second half. Catanzaro will kick it off to Desmond King. Must-win scenario for the Chargers to stay in this race. Onside kick to open up. Ball bounces in the air. And the Jets in the proper position to recover it. They've got it. Some trickery to open things up here in Week 16.
That's just what the Jets need to get that positive vibe going. See Marcus May, the rookie, with the recovery. Perfect kick, too. Look at this high hop right here, right over the receiving team of the Chargers, right into the arms of Marcus May.
You can't do it much better than that. A textbook onside kick for the New York Jets.
Yeah, it was a double hopper, too, and one big hop off the foot, and then the second one made sure it went 10 yards. And the Jets are in business.
Perfectly executed by Catanzaro and the rookie out of Florida, May, with a big smile on his face along the Jets sideline. So it sets up the Jets 1st and 10 at the 48. Petty looking downfield. Off-play action. Fires a bullet to Curse. And makes the connection for 8 yards on first down. So Bryce Petty, 5 career starts prior to this one. He has at least 1 interception in all 5 of those games.
You always hear about a player saying, well, the game starts to slow down. That's really important for Petty because he's a high-energy guy, and this is a horrible sign for the Chargers. Melvin Ingram with an injury and on the Charger bench. Ingram,
one of the most ferocious defensive players in the NFL, and after one play is hurting. 2nd and 2. It's a give for Forte, 4-yard gain. Forte was a question mark in this game with a knee injury. Starting offense for the Jets, injured up front. Brian Winters is out with an abdomen issue, so Dakota Dozier gets the start on the right side of the line. And Robbie Anderson trying to crack 1,000 yards receiving in his second year. His next catch will be his 100th career grab.
And replacing Ingram is Chris McCain.
First down. Petty has time. Deep shot. Petty looking downfield. It's caught. Robbie Anderson with a flag down. And Anderson already disagreeing with what he knows is a call against him on a push. Casey Hayward making the call for L.A.
Well, the ball was underthrown.
Pass interference, offense, number 11. It's a 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
It's more than a 10-yard penalty because after the catch, Anderson goes into the end zone, but you can see the push as he adjusts to the ball. It was an excellent call by the officials. 2 hands on the back of Hayward. Wipes out a touchdown.
And it sends the Jets back into their own territory in between the 49 and 50.
And it's telling Kelvin Beachum to go to the sidelines. Clete Blakeman just walked him right over to the sidelines because of some type of injury that Blakeman deemed happened.
Brent Qualley checks in to replace him. They're already down a starter in Brian Winters. Beachum is just standing there on his own right now.
He may have had some foreign substance on his arm, like Vaseline. It looked like they were wiping it off his arms.
Stick him?
The opposite of stick him.
Slip him?
Slip him, yeah.
4-yard gain for Bilal Powell going up the middle. Check out the Los Angeles starting D. Phylon in for the injured Legion, sitting this one out with a knee injury. Linebackers took a hit there with Denzel Perriman now done for the year. Pollard will see more time, and in the secondary, Hayward going to the Pro Bowl for the second consecutive year. He's been dealing with a calf injury. It looks like some improvement from Ingram. Jump there. Petty, flags fly. And Petty may have hurt his right arm extending out, throwing the ball.
Shaking that right hand, too. Chris McCain jumped off sides and then hit Petty as he was releasing the ball.
His backup is Christian Hackenberg, who's never taken a snap.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense. Defensive tackle. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Penalty against LA.
It's kind of a double thing there because he got hit on the arm by McCain, and then he has in the follow-through, he hit his hand on one of his own blockers.
Melvin Ingram is back in there for the Chargers. Sets up 2nd and 11 now for New York. Petty trying to get rid of it quickly. Petty is devoured by Corey Toomer. A loss of 9 on the play as Petty was trying to get rid of the football and then had to accept the sack.
Yeah, first sack of the year for Corey Toomer. He comes in totally unblocked, but that's a real inexperienced move by Petty. This is a 3-step drop. You can't hold this ball and try to scramble out. Your offensive linemen are aggressively blocking. Nobody picked up Toomer. Results in a huge loss for the Jets.
Shotgun formation here for Petty. 3rd and 20 for the Jets, opening drive. And it's incomplete. So after the onside kick, Powell, the intended receiver, the Jets do very little. Long pass to Anderson was called back, pass interference, and then penalties and hiccups for New York.
Yeah, a couple of big errors there. The penalty on the pass interference wiped out a touchdown.
Return man is Travis Benjamin. Has a punt return for a touchdown this season, 65 yards, but they'll send 2. Desmond King joins him back there, waiting for the Lachlan Edwards punt. Trying to place it. Perfect bounce. And the Jets get down the field. 49-yard punt. It will be down at the 1. Terrence Brooks makes the play. Phillip Rivers and the Chargers offense coming on. Bryce Petty grabbing the right arm, flexing the right hand on the opening series of the day. Phillip Rivers and the Chargers deep in their own territory. First possession of the day for LA. Rivers closing in on his 9th career 4,000-yard passing season. Give it to the fullback Derek Watt just to create a little bit of breathing room. Picks up 2 yards on the play, hit by Demario Davis. Starting offense for the Chargers, no Russell Okung. He's out with a groin injury, so the rookie from Utah, Sam Tevi, getting the start on the left side. Barksdale's not 100% either. Hunter Henry is done for the season. The lacerated kidney, so Antonio Gates, 15-year veteran, future Hall of Famer. Expect to see more of him in the passing game. 2nd and 8. Melvin Gordon sets up in the backfield. It's Gordon. And nothing there. Runs into a wall, driven backwards by the Jets. Mike Pennell in on that stop. He gets the start. Muhammad Wilkerson inactive once again for New York. The linebackers, they've seen growth from Jordan Jenkins in his 2nd year in the NFL. And in the secondary, the Buster Skrine, there's been the story that Skrine's had an off year but has come on of late. Skrine telling us, no, that's not necessarily the case. He felt he had just the one bad game against Miami with all the penalties. 3rd and 6. From the Chargers 5. Rivers gets rid of it. Open man, Tyrell Williams with a first down. Catch and run across the 20. And they'll move the chains. 16 yards for the Chargers.
Williams, the Chargers burner, and he uses his speed on the shallow cross. It was a blitz by screen that Rivers read, went to his outlet receiver in Tyrell Williams, and he races to that first down, beating Jamal Adams across the field.
Williams was a track star in college at Western Oregon. put up big numbers as a surprise last year. Numbers still solid, but Keenan Allen's having an all-pro season. Swing it to Allen. And hit down low, couldn't get around Buster's screen on the play. And they pick up 3 yards.
Talking to Casey Rogers, the defensive coordinator for the Jets, about Rivers. Says with all the weapons he has, they're everywhere. It's important for the Jets to get him off the spot. He loves to step up in the pocket, as he did on that pass to Williams over the middle.
And even talking to Rivers about the Jets, he said, I look back at Todd Bowles games where I played against him as a defensive coordinator. He mixes his pressures. He gives you a multitude of looks. Got to figure out a lot of things at the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 7. Rivers sets, throws, nobody home. Nobody even looking.
Now, you talked about the different pressures. They brought another defensive back at Rivers that time. We saw a screen coming. This time, you can see the rookie Adams comes as well, and then Rivers gets planted. Josh Martin with the big hit.
Sets up 3rd and 7 now for LA. 9:28 to go in this opening quarter. That loss last week by Los Angeles to Kansas City snapped a 4-game winning streak. They were red hot, but allowed 397 yards to KC. Rivers floats it upstairs. Incomplete in the area of Allen. Demario Davis putting pressure on Rivers, and he had to get rid of it before he wanted to.
The Jets doing a good job of mixing up their pressures. You can see Marcus May coming. So 3 plays on this drive. Casey Rogers and the Jets defense putting pressure on Rivers with blitzes from the secondary.
Second-year punter Drew Kaiser kicking to JoJo Natson. The Jets average only 4.7 yards per punt return. That's second to last in the NFL. Indianapolis the only team worse. And that's not going to help the average. Natson driven backwards. No return. Flag thrown back at the 27-yard line on the Chargers side of the field. A 44-yard punt.
An indication of holding on the gunner where the flag is laying to the outside. Just made back the Jets up more.
We'll hear from Clete Blakeman once he gets the official word. Long discussion at the 9:12 mark of this opening quarter. Jets started the season 3-2. They've dropped 7 of their last 9 games to get to this point.
During the kick, holding, receiving team number 85. It's a 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down, New York.
It is Neil Sterling on the hold, so they'll back it up for the Jets. We remain scoreless in the opening quarter. Nicely done by our crew. How many takes was that?
12. They got it, though.
9:12 to play in this first quarter. Jets and Chargers scoreless. From the 22, motion man is Stewart. On a give for Powell. A shaken big move by Powell. And he's out of bounds after the gain of 4. Let's check in with Evan Washburn.
Well, at the end of that last series, we saw Bryce Petty dealing with something in his right hand, was stretching it out. During the entire defensive series, he did not receive any extra treatment, so seems to be okay. As for Melvin Ingram, similar situation. Took a shot to that right leg on the first play, was able to work through it, got back in, seems to be fine, guys.
All right, Evan, thanks very much. Jets were successful on that onside kick to open the game. First team to successfully do that since the Eagles did it against the Giants week 17, 2012. Powell is twirled down by Toomer. And a 4-yard gain sets up 3rd and manageable here for New York.
You can see what the Jets are trying to do with the Chargers. They know about the Chargers' hard time stopping the run, giving up 128 yards on the ground on average. So they come in with 2 tight ends. They may even go with 3 tight ends and bring in the big fullback, Lawrence Thomas, as well.
So they were successful, but the 40-yard touchdown was negated by the penalty. They ended up with 7 total yards on the drive. Petty, 3rd and 2, deep shot, and overthrows Jermaine Kearse, who had a step on Trevor Williams.
Interesting play selection on 3rd and 2 to go for the bomb down the sidelines. That he saw the man-to-man coverage, but just couldn't deliver.
So Phillip Rivers will get ready to take his offense back onto the field. Travis Benjamin standing at his own 22-yard line from Lachlan Edwards. Second-year punter from Sam Houston State, averaging 46.6 yards per kick. High punt. Fair catch called for at the 23-yard line. That's where the Chargers will have it after the 47-yard punt. And a flag down at the 30-yard line on New York's end of the field.
During the kick, holding return team number 87. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down, Los Angeles.
That is the former Jet, Jeff Cumberland. Is that a gift or is he giving the gift? What's Santa doing here? Chargers interaction, one game behind Kansas City in the AFC West, but they were swept by the Chiefs. So KC clinches the division with a victory. Handoff to Melvin Gordon. And gang tackled as he hit the 15-yard line, pickup of 2. Chargers started off the season 0-4. They lost 3 close games. They rallied from there, won 7 of their next 9, got into playoff contention, but last week, 30-13 loss to Kansas City. They're on the outside looking in, 2-5 in games decided by 8 points or less. But they still have a pulse, opportunity for a wild card, but they need help in addition to winning their final 2 games. They'll be home for Oakland next week. Second down and 8. Rivers underneath. Antonio Gates. What a connection that's been through the years. Rivers and Gates.
The trust factor is just off the charts. Gates just knows exactly where to go in the zone defense that time by the Jets, and Rivers quickly got him the ball for that first down.
We asked Anthony Lynn about Gates. He said, hey, it's like riding a bike for him, and he's rode this bike before. We know what we can expect from him. Hunter Henry had taken on a more pronounced role from that tight end position and delivered with good numbers. Rivers. Tyrell Williams takes a pop after the catch from Demario Davis. And a modest gain of 2 yards on first down.
Well, this time the crossing route is going to meet a zone defense. You see everybody just dropping into their areas, including Davis, and he just drops Williams for a short gain.
Second and 8 for LA. Running play, Jets were ready for it. Gordon keeps the legs churning, but can only squeeze out 2 yards on the play. Davis and Lee combined to bring him down. Gordon had high praise for the Jets defense. Thought the young safeties really stood out watching on film. Their front is impressive. You know, and when we asked Gordon about the importance of the game, he said, look, we know what's at stake. It's not over. They keep reminding one another, win the game. Don't worry about all of the other things that have to happen. 3rd and 6 now for LA. 5:34 to go in the first. Brandon Oliver is in for the Chargers. Knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Rivers could not get a clean pass off. Pressure from Xavier Cooper, who is seeing a lot of time in the absence of Muhammad Wilkerson. Cooper formerly of Cleveland and San Francisco.
A real good defensive stand by the Jets defense. Rivers trying to get the ball out quickly, but look at the left arm there of the 6'4" Cooper.
Cooper, his second pro game was his first career sack, and it came against Phillip Rivers. No rush, Kaiser, kicked. Natson backpedals to the 14. Natson hit from the side, shy of the 25-yard line. 58-yard punt, a 10-yard return. Adrian Phillips makes the play on special teams. No score, 5:16 to go in the first. Chargers will be eliminated with a loss today. Also, if Kansas City and Tennessee both win, LA would be out. First down for the Jets from the 23. Stutter step move by Powell, could not stay upright. And he's dropped after a gain of 1.5 yards by Tenny Palapoy.
Accurate play by linebacker Hayes Pollard too. Watch him and the determination that he has to bring down Powell. And it misreads at first, but he fights off the block there of Tomlinson and brings down Powell with one hand.
Jets coming off a week where they gained 294 yards against the Saints. They allowed 416 to New Orleans. It was a 17-13 game in the fourth quarter. Petty is on target to Robbie Anderson. You see that speed from Anderson after the catch. Ducks out of bounds, 13 yards for Anderson.
Yeah, good job by Petty to just kind of fade in the pocket away from the pressure to buy time and to allow the crossing route by Anderson. And that's the first pass today that he's thrown that hasn't been too hard and off target.
100th catch of his career, Robbie Anderson. We approach 4 minutes to go here in the first. Shotgun formation for Petty. Fake it. Toss it to Kearse. Kearse with that jump move. Jaleel Addae there defensively for Los Angeles turns into a 6-yard pickup.
Yeah, kind of a jump cut there for Jermaine Kearse on Addae, but Addae stayed with it to make the tackle. But this is getting Petty into a little bit of a rhythm. 2 straight completions. One a classic drop back, and then that one getting the ball out quick on the wide receiver screen.
Well, we asked Petty about his approach this year. He said, look, last year I was worried about being perfect. That became overwhelming. I'm not thinking about auditioning anymore. Petty misfires to Safarian Jenkins, and he was wide open.
Yeah, just a little bit impatient in the pocket that time for Petty. His Austin Safarian Jenkins was working his way down the field to get this far open. And you can see the ball just whistles by, and he would have had a lot of yards ahead of him.
So Petty and the Jets now facing a 3rd and 4. Josh McCown done for the year with that broken left hand he suffered in week 14. Petty from the gun. Incomplete. And that was not a strong series. Jets fans reacting. Lost the ball on the follow-through.
Well, he was trying to hold the ball. It's what he's going to do. A little indecision there, and the ball just slipped out of his hand as he was trying to bring it back into his body.
Petty's now 3 of 7. He was under 50% in his completion rate, 19 of 39 against New Orleans. Another opportunity here for Travis Benjamin, waiting for it at his own 12-yard line. No rush on Edwards. Spiraling kick. Benjamin back from the 8. And out of bounds as he crossed the 15. Flag down, thrown at the 18-yard line. 49-yard punt, a 6-yard return.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the return team, number 25. 15-yard penalty for the end of the run. First down, Los Angeles.
Rayshawn Jenkins. Chargers continue to shoot themselves in the foot. Los Angeles trying to get something going here. Those plays are not going to help as we remain scoreless. Muhammad Wilkerson inactive once again here for the Jets. Didn't make the trip to New Orleans last week. They left him home. Hand off to Melvin Gordon. Gordon loops it to the outside and then hit hard at the 10-yard line. 3-yard pickup. Average drive start has been the 7-yard line for Los Angeles, so that's been the challenge for the Chargers and trying to find a rhythm here on offense.
And not finding much of a rhythm on the ground. That's 4 carries now for Gordon for just 8 yards. A lot of that has to do with the Chargers being backed up and the Jets getting a lot of creative pressure along that defensive line.
The Jets have actually allowed the second most 20-plus yard receptions in the league this season, behind only Indianapolis. 2nd and 7. Rivers again hits as he throws, and it's incomplete. Hit by Leonard Williams, so the pressure is coming from all angles right now.
Well, 92 is Leonard Williams. Only has 2 sacks on the year, but a lot of pressures. This is 3 times now in the first quarter that the Jets have nailed Rivers and put him on the ground with force.
Leonard Williams cleared concussion protocol after suffering the head injury last week in the third quarter.
And how about the interception he got last week against Drew Brees?
First of his career. 3rd and 7 now for LA. Clock is down to 1. Rivers, delayed rush, on time, hits Keenan Allen. First down across the 25. Morris Claiborne with a tackle that covers 16 yards for the Chargers.
You know, Keenan Allen now with 90 catches on the year as he fights through traffic, and Rivers hanging onto that ball to the last instant to get rid of it. But you can see no pressure that time, and that's going to allow that deep crossing route by Allen to get the Chargers a little more breathing room.
Allen deservedly in the Pro Bowl this year. He's having some lower back issues in that game against Kansas City. He's never played in all 16 games in the season. He's played in every game so far this year. Spin move by Gordon doesn't work. The Jets bring him down. Darren Lee leading the charge along with McClendon. Loss of 1 on the play. So we know what the mentality is for Anthony Lynn. The ground and pound, and he wants balance. The running game is not working right now for Los Angeles in this opening quarter. We're down to 1:10 to go.
Oh, coming into the game, they're just averaging 99 yards a game on the ground, so continuing to have problems getting Gordon going.
2nd and 11 now for the Chargers. Shotgun for Rivers. Quick trigger, incomplete. Drop ball, and it is the rookie Mike Williams, 7th overall pick, just 10 catches in his first season.
Well, 81 is Williams, and it's a slant route. He goes down for this ball, thrown a little bit low, but he's letting the ball get to his body instead of reaching out and catching it with his gloved hands. Ball gets all the way into the body. It's going to bounce around in there. That one did, and all the way to the ground.
Brings up 3rd and 11 for the Chargers. Rivers trying to get everybody on the same page. Rivers moving pocket, throws on the move, nice stab. Catch by McGrath, but short of a first down. And the Jets have held 3-yard pickup through the air.
Yep. Yeah, Rivers trying to change the play, get everybody on the same page here. And it's a 4-man rush and a late blitz there by Adams. Pretty good catch, too, by McGrath, just his 3rd of the season, but well short of the first down.
6th punt between these two teams. We've had just 5 first downs combined. Kaiser kicking to Natson. Natson handles it at the 19. Natson, a joystick move to the outside, and he's out of bounds. Jets will have it at the 30 with 13 seconds to go in the first. Earlier this month, in an effort to strengthen community bonds, Jets players, along with members of the NYPD, hosted 25 students for some holiday shopping. The children, selected on their performance in the Jets Play 60 Challenge, were given a gift card and the opportunity to spend time with members of the Jets. We wish everybody a Merry Christmas. No score, the Jets and the Chargers with 13 seconds to go here in the opening quarter. And for the Jets, trying to play the role of spoiler. Punt, punt, punt. And off to Powell, and he is hit hard for no gain. And that'll be the final play of this first quarter. Chargers and the Jets, no points. As we get ready for second quarter action, we'll return to the Meadowlands. After this, you're watching the NFL on CBS. Not a whole lot of activity in the first quarter on offense on either side. 59 total yards for the Chargers, 35 for the Jets, who take over with a 2nd and 10 as they switch sides here in the second. Petty being chased, throws. It's dropped by the fullback, Lawrence Thomas, who does have 6 catches on the season. Let's check in with Evan Washburn.
Well, guys, slow start here for Bryce Petty, which begs the question, what's Josh McCown been telling him? A lot made of his role now that he's injured for the season. Is he a quarterback coach? Is he there to just sort of offer support? It's a little bit of both. He's more of a bridge from the coaching staff to Petty, a little bit of empathy at times, but trying to navigate some of the things the defense is throwing at him, make it easier, and you're seeing that. It's not a lot in his ear. It's just a word here, there, and then getting out.
Yeah, and Petty said, for McCown being there, he just sees things differently than the coaches do. He's lived it. Petty, strong arm, too strong for Chad Hansen. And the Jets fans restless.
Well, the Jets are 0-4, and the Chargers are doing everything they can do to keep the Jets in this game. But offensively, when you're 0-4 on third downs, and you bring out Locke Edwards one more time, that's why you're hearing the disgruntled crowd.
Benjamin at the 20-yard line. This game means so much to LA, just trying to stay in the playoff chase. Room for Benjamin. 50-yard punt. Benjamin dives short of the 30. NFL Today update. JB, Nate Burleson in New York.
KC knows what's at stake.
That's right. Clinches the division with the win after a 9-play, 75-yard drive. Travis Kelce, 9-yard touchdown. It's KC 10-3.
Phil called them the bird, the beard, and the hair. I don't like that. It's Ian, it's Dan, and it's Evan.
Yeah, that's better. That's better.
Yeah, but
Agreed.
marketability, the bird, the beard, and but the hair, yeah, love Evan, but
It doesn't rhyme. There's no alliteration.
sorry, kid,
You can't put it on a T-shirt.
never could.
1st and 10 for Los Angeles at the 29-yard line. Kansas City doing its job so far. The Chargers are not. Play action. Rivers throw it away. Didn't see anything he liked downfield. Travis Benjamin, the intended target, out on the perimeter. It's 2nd and 10.
He missed a shot at Tyrell Williams, because here's Williams right here, and he's just going to go right down the field. He's going to be 5 yards beyond the defense here. Rivers looking that way initially. For some reason, the pressure up the middle forced him to throw the ball out to the side. That's an opportunity that he'd love to have back, right?
In their wins, the Chargers have averaged 28 points per game, 16.4 points in their losses. Handoff, and it's Brandon Oliver.
A little wildcat action that time as Melvin Gordon took the direct snap and handed it to Oliver. The Jets were ready for it.
The Jets have been ready for everything that LA has thrown their way so far.
A little read option there that time. But the Jets not fooled at all. 4 or 5 Jets right there to take him down.
Third and 9 for Los Angeles. Rivers is 6 of 12 for 49 yards. Rivers pulls the trigger. It's complete. Catch made by Tyrell Williams. And he's out of bounds. First down, 16 yards on the hookup. The safety Marcus May over there defensively.
You give it Rivers time to throw, and no matter what is happening around him, he's so calm in the pocket, and he allows his receivers to work down the field. A little bit of a grab there by Screen, but ball perfectly thrown by Rivers.
Austin Eckler has a broken left hand. So you're not going to see him on offense. You're going to see Brandon Oliver, who had been the backup to Melvin Gordon. Play fake. Rivers off his back foot. Throwing. Nearly intercepted. Jamal Adams is still looking for his first.
Adams made a great adjustment on this ball because Rivers, as you said, Ian, was throwing off his back foot. Ball's going to come up way short. Adams just can't make that catch.
Travis Benjamin, the intended receiver. Rivers had 3 picks last week. He's now less than 100 yards away from his 9th 4,000-yard passing season. 2nd and 10 for LA. Motion man to Benjamin. Pitch it. It's Gordon. Gordon sidesteps a tackler. Gordon into Jets territory. And he's forced out of bounds a yard short of the first down. It's a 9-yard pickup. Xavier Cooper makes the stop for New York.
He's going to run right through number 41, Buster Screen. Cuts upfield hard, gets away from Martin, and there goes Screen.
Chargers working quickly here. They go no huddle. 3rd and 1. Rivers waiting for the officials to back off. And now Los Angeles will use a timeout. No score, the Jets and the Chargers. Second quarter action continuing, 12:54 to play. Gordon and Watt in the backfield on a 3rd and 1 after the timeout. Handed off, Gordon right up the middle. Gordon a spin move. Gordon cutting it to the outside. He's got a first down. Brought down by Marcus May. It's a 9-yard run for Gordon.
Well, Gordon getting in behind his fullback, Derek Watt, his college teammate. Watt's going to lead him in the hole, but the cut to the left side here as he sees the opening. Good job by the rookie Sam Tevy as well, number 69, getting down the field. Best run of the day for Gordon and the Chargers.
Gordon acknowledged it's been a rough year for him with nagging injuries, but strangely enough, he's feeling his freshest now. Travis Benjamin, nowhere to go out on the perimeter. That's something that LA will do offensively. They'll get cute with some jet sweeps and some end arounds. Bass and Burris combine to challenge Benjamin on the outside. It's a loss of 4.
Well, as aggressive as the Jets are defensively with all the blitzes, you expect that it would be man-to-man. But again, the combination of changing things up by Casey Rogers. That time they just played zone, so on the reverse when Benjamin came around, Bass was in his zone. Burris was backing him up. It was a loss for the Chargers.
8th play of the drive. It's been the longest drive of the day either side. Rivers going against the grain on a throw. He's got Antonio Gates. First down, Los Angeles. Inside the Jets 15. NFL Today update. JB and Nate in New York.
Not a good streak.
That's right, JB. Tom Brady comes into this game, 4 picks in 3 games. Right here is number 5, Jordan Poyer. He reads his eyes, jumps around. Poyer trying to play Pat's Destroyer. Buffalo Bills, they're up 10-3.
Iron Eagle, Dan Fouts.
Huge game. Buffalo in the hunt in the playoffs at 8-6. New England trying to get the number 1 seed in the AFC. And off Gordon, ridden down by Jordan Jenkins. 2 yards on the run for Gordon. The previous play was a 27-yard hookup to Gates.
Well, and it's a little more creativity. Rivers on a bootleg throwback. And previous to this 27-yarder, Gates' longest was 16 yards, but he did have a touchdown catch, his only catch last week against Kansas City. Jets just forgot about him on that throwback.
2nd down and 8 for LA. Chargers finally threatening here in the second quarter. Gordon sets up as a receiver. Rivers fires. Gordon with the catch. And he's down inside the 5, just short of a first down, hit by the linebacker Darren Lee.
And the one thing the Chargers are doing on this drive for Rivers, they're giving him really good pass protection. And when he gets pass protection, he'll go to his outlet receiver. Gordon that time on a slow crossing route was about the 5th option for both Ken Wisenhunt, offensive coordinator, and Rivers.
3rd and short. Gordon again sets up as a wideout. Gordon the motion man. Rivers looking. End zone. Off the hands of Williams and a flag thrown. Buster Screen in coverage.
Pass interference, defense, number 41. Ball in place at the 1-yard line. First down, Los Angeles.
So it's against Screen, who had a forced fumble and a fumble recovery last week in the loss to New Orleans.
Mike Williams goes 6'4", Screen about 5'9", so see where Rivers puts the ball up high, and Screen goes and grabs the right shoulder. For the pass interference.
1st and goal for LA.
Humble.
Rivers lost it for a moment. but no further damage as he covers up.
He had kind of a weird stance, too, behind the center with his left foot way back there. He may have pulled out just an instant too soon, taking the ball from Spencer Pulley, but fortunately, the ball bounced right back to him.
2nd and goal. Chargers trying to get on the board. Rivers out of the gun. Rivers rifles. Touchdown, Antonio Gates. Chargers strike first, and it's the Rivers to Gates combo.
Well, this is what Rivers talked about to us about these rookie safeties. They're going to be really good, but they have never seen somebody like Antonio Gates. Look at the body position. Using his large frame to keep the rookie Adams away from the ball. And Rivers again with a perfect ball placement for the score.
Most touchdowns for a tight end in NFL history. Gates adding to his total, a 12-play, 71-yard drive for the Chargers. And the extra point is good for the newest Charger kicker, Nick Rose. Gates has the positioning, of course, the basketball background. He's also got the hands. And it's another touchdown on the ledger for the future Hall of Famer. The sports world is mourning the loss of an absolute legend with the passing of our friend Dick Enberg. 14-time Emmy Award winner. He called 28 Wimbledon tennis tournaments, 15 NCAA basketball title games, 10 Super Bowls, the World Series. Enberg's been honored by the Baseball, Football, Basketball Hall of Fames as a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Dick Enberg was 82. Former partner of yours, Dan, a colleague of ours.
Yeah, whenever the Chargers had a big game back in the day, we'd see Dick and Merlin Olsen come to practice. And we always knew that it was special because he was special. And then get to know him that way, going to those production meetings. And then as a partner, he taught me so much. But, all the accolades and all the tributes you've heard and read about, they're all true.
But it only scratches the surface because there was a warmth and a genuine quality to him. We know what he was on the air, one of the best to ever do it. But as a friend, another level. We went to his home in San Diego, had us there as his guests. So inviting on every level. Handoff, Bilal Powell, big gain. Powell, and oh my, Powell into Los Angeles territory. Finally brought down by Trey Boston.
Gets in behind his big fullback, Lawrence Thomas, here on the right side of the Jets offense. And Bilal Powell almost touches them all with this 41-yarder.
First down for the Jets. Stutter step by Forte, who falls forward just short of the 30-yard line.
And of course, the oh my and the touch them all, two of the great Enberg catchphrases. My wife Jerry worked for Dick Enberg back in the day, so we became tremendous friends. Obviously, he was a friend of all of his partners, but he talked about going to Chateau Enberg there in La Jolla. What a special treat that always was, and we send our deepest condolences to Barbara and the entire Enberg family.
Catch made by Austin Safarian Jenkins. And the Jets with a strong answer, a first down. NFL Today update. JB and Nate in the Big Apple.
Brady making amends.
That's right, making up for an interception. Check out this back shoulder fade. Rob Gronkowski, 17 yards right there. These guys have linked up 75 times. The game is knotted at 10.
Hey, Ian and Dan and Dick were an excellent pair. Back to Ian Eagle.
Well, absolutely. We've had some incredible partners through the years. Hall of Fame partners, Dan. First down for the Jets. We approach 7 minutes to go in this first half. Forte. Oh, he lost it. The Chargers jump on it. And LA's got it. Costly turnover. Corey Toomer crushing. Toomer knocked it free. Recovered by Pollard for LA. Turnovers are reviewed, and it was confirmed Matt Forte had the ball lodged out before he hit the ground, and the Chargers take over 1st and 10 with 7 minutes to go in the first half. Rivers throws it underneath to Derek Watt. What a big gain for Watt on the catch and run. He had just one catch this season. That one covers 23 yards. He's brought down by Darren Lee.
This is the first fumble of the year for Matt Forte, and it's clear the ball comes out before his backside hits the turf.
So the Chargers now have it at the 47-yard line. And Rivers starting to find a flow. Handoff, Oliver. Runs into a crowd at midfield for a 3-yard pickup.
Oliver hasn't played a whole lot this year. He was beat out by Austin Eckler. But scheduled to get maybe 15 to 20 plays this afternoon, according to Ken Wisenhunt. But Philip Rivers says he should be fresh.
Very fresh. IR last year, torn Achilles, so that cost him the season. And then Eckler was so impressive in training camp, preseason, eventually taking over that number 2 spot behind Gordon. Deep shot. Incomplete. Mike Williams turned around for a flag. It didn't come. Buster screen in coverage. Kansas City updated score 17-6. The Chiefs leading the Dolphins. A Kansas City victory, and they wrap up the AFC West. 3rd and 7 now for Los Angeles. 5:44 mark of this second quarter. 4 receivers set for the Chargers. Play clock is down to 2. And Rivers forced to use a timeout. 3rd and 7 after the timeout for LA. Operating from the gun. Rivers lets it fly underneath. Big hit. Tyrell Williams got stamped by Justin Burris. They pick up just a yard.
Well, we've seen a couple of crossing routes for Tyrell Williams. The first one was really good. The last 2 have ended like this. And on the passing end of this, Josh Martin is going to take Rivers down again. The reason Rivers called timeout prior to that play is he was yelling at the Jets to get lined up so he could call the protection correctly for his own offensive line.
So they weren't complying.
They were so reckless, he would say.
And over end, Matson handles it cleanly at the 10. And Matson in heavy traffic is dumped at the 15-yard line by the Chargers special teams. Jets trail 7-0, 4:54 to go in this first half from MetLife Stadium. Seven-year playoff drought for the New York Jets. They went 11 straight seasons without a playoff berth if you go back from 1970 to 1980. Powell in the backfield. Petty incomplete. Cursed the intended target with 2 defenders bunched in the area. It's 2nd and 10. Casey Hayward and Hayes Pollard.
Unfortunate that ball wasn't picked off because confusion and miscommunication between the quarterback and the receiver on that side. And you're backed up in your own end of the field here. Got to be careful.
Josh McCown had put together his best season. McCown playing on a 1-year, $6 million contract. Powell weaving through space. He's brought down to the 19-yard line, gain of 4. Mebane and Philon combine on the hit. Now, who knows what the future holds for McCown with the Jets. They'll have decisions to make. They'll have nearly $100 million in cap space once they make the Mo Wilkerson move. And then there's Christian Hackenberg, second-round pick from Penn State last year. Just being active in a game has been a step in the right direction for Hackenberg. He's never taken a regular season snap. Petty sets and throws. He's got his man. It's complete to Kearse. First down, short of the 35-yard line, brought down by Desmond King. 14 yards on the pass play.
Yeah, smart choice by Bryce Petty going to the veteran Kearse. Good route there working against the rookie Desmond King. The ball is put right where it needs to be, out in front of Kearse on the slant route for 14 yards.
And the first third down they've converted today, now 1 of 5. Petty is 5 out of 12 for 52 yards. Petty, quick hitter to Anderson. Robbie Anderson short of a first down, hit by Pollard on the play, and picks up 9. Haven't heard a lot from Joey Bosa so far.
Well, 11.5 sacks on the year. You can see that big James Carpenter is 320 pounds. Keeps Bosa a long way away from Petty on that quick out.
Bosa, 15th player with double-digit sacks in his first 2 seasons. That was an abbreviated year last year because of the holdout and the hamstring injury. 2nd and 12. Petty, catch, and a quick hit. King on Kearse. No gain on the play. Brings up 3rd and 1.
Now again, this is another mistake by an inexperienced quarterback. It's man-to-man coverage, and you're throwing a quick out to a receiver that's being bump and run covered by Desmond King. And this has a lot of bad things could happen on that type of play. They're lucky they were held to just a no-gain play.
Some of the words from last week in describing Petty: looked tentative. He was underwhelming against New Orleans. He was chomping at the bit just to get out there and turn the page. Petty, it's offline. He had Anderson for a first down. So they had 2nd and 1, didn't get it. 3rd and 1, didn't get it.
Yeah,
and now the Jets will punt.
It looked like Anderson kind of slowed down on his route. It's a slant route, and he kind of pulls up there. Petty put the ball where he expected it to be, where he expected Anderson to be, but Anderson kind of slowed down and just gave it a half-hearted effort with the one hand. If he continues to run, the ball is perfectly thrown.
Jets went empty backfield on back-to-back plays on 2nd and short and 3rd and short. And now Lachlan Edwards will punt it once again. Sailing kick. Benjamin Faircatch called for at the 6. And that's where the Chargers will have it with 2:13 to play in this first half. Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report. JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, Coach Cowher. Latest NFL scores and highlights all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. 7-0 lead for the Chargers. Must-win scenario for LA. You know, it's been a strange year. The Chargers opened up 0-4. They were basically forgotten about in the AFC. Anthony Lynn in his first year as a head coach. And then things started to click a bit. Put together a run, got themselves in a position where they were playing for the division lead last week against Kansas City. Prime-time game on the road. And then it got away from them. It was 13-10 in the 3rd quarter in favor of the Chargers. They lost 30-13. Zigzag move by Gordon. Good running from Gordon. He's got a first down. Hit by Jamal Adams. That takes us to the 2-minute warning. Late stages, 2nd quarter in East Rutherford. Well, some pictures don't need words.
Pictures need help.
I'd say that individual needs some help. 2-minute warning, 2nd quarter. The Chargers 166 yards of offense. Add to it, Antonio Gates finds a soft spot, and Gates goes down. The clock is moving, 1:47 left.
Yeah, Gates was not touched. But because he gave himself up, the officials marked him down. Never did hear a whistle.
4th catch of the day. That's a season high for Gates. Rivers gets rid of it. And the soft toss to Melvin Gordon picks up 2. 1 timeout remaining for the Chargers. Martin continues to put hits on Phillip Rivers. 2nd down and 8. Jets have been held to 115 yards of offense. Rivers has time. Wobbly throw is incomplete. Benjamin was looking for a flag against Justin Burris, and Rivers indicating that his receiver was held.
Well, Rivers is going to let everybody know exactly how he feels on just about every play. On the previous play, he beat the blitz of Josh Martin and turned around and told him so. And now he's telling the officials how to call the game down the field as he saw a grab.
1:12 to play. 3rd and 8. Williams, motion man. Knocked away. Phillip Rivers could not push it downfield. And the Chargers will punt. Jordan Jenkins, a presence.
Yeah, really an athletic move by Jenkins. 6'3", just getting that left hand up there. It's so frustrating for a quarterback. You tell your linemen, when they jump up in the air, punch them in the stomach. That'll get their hands down.
I have a feeling that's what you told your linemen. Was that just a league-wide mantra?
Yeah, pretty much so.
Kaiser the punt, flag thrown. Matson won't get under it, and now it rolls and settles in at the 5, but multiple flags. You've got 1 from where Los Angeles kicked the ball, and then 2 on the Jets side of the field. 55-yard punt, 53 seconds to go.
They have a lot of things to talk about. 3 different infractions here.
Well, it's going to be a full meeting.
They have a quorum?
Yeah, this is a quorum.
They have 5 of the 7 officials assigned to the game.
The flags form a triangle from the 32, 18, and 28. Early indicator from Clete Blakeman.
It's an isosceles triangle.
It is
too.
isosceles. Very good. What'd you get in geometry?
A+.
I'd like to see some records of that.
They've destroyed all the records from that far back. What did you expect me to say, D?
We got fouls against both teams on the play. Illegal motion against the kicking team number 31. Holding return team number 31. And New York is elected to offset the penalties and replay the down. 4th down.
Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report. JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, Coach Cowher, the latest NFL scores and highlights. That is all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. So after all of that, it's a mulligan. Kaiser to punt again. Natson at the 15-yard line of New York. Under a minute to go in this first half. Wobbler. Bounces up in the air. Natson is not going to touch it, and it's knocked out of bounds. Chargers indicating that they should have possession of the ball, but did not appear to hit any of the Jets. So the Jets will have it right around the 30-yard line with 42 seconds to play. It goes down as a 29-yard punt. Well, Bryce Petty talked about the confidence that he has this year compared to last year. He's handling all aspects of the job better, growing as a player, but the stats aren't illustrating that. 7 of 15, 61 yards. You see what the Jets have done on offense in their first 6 possessions.
Yeah, 3rd down has just been a real killer. Just 1 out of 6 for Petty and the Jets.
They have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. 42 seconds to play. First half. From the gun. Petty, pump, throw. Juggling attempt to intercept it, and it's incomplete. The versatile Adrian Phillips got his hands on it. Phillips does a little bit of everything for this defense. However he can get himself on the field, he's willing to do it.
Yeah, and if McGuire isn't in the way here, Phillips makes this interception. Great effort.
2nd and 10, 37 seconds to play. McGuire remains in there. Petty will throw it. And connects with his man, Curse. And Petty having problems.
Yeah, he's got a real problem there with his wrist now.
So we've seen issues with the right arm. He has flexed that right hand. He's grabbing at the wrist.
Yeah, he hit the top of the helmet. Looked like of Jonathan Harrison.
And Hackenberg is getting warmed up. He might get his chance after all. 30 seconds left. First down for the Jets at the 45. They trail just 7-0. Chargers lone touchdown. Rivers to Gates. Petty tosses it to Robbie Anderson, crossing midfield. And the clock continues to roll. And a timeout taken, 22 seconds left. Catanzaro is getting into his routine, hoping to get a chance before the break.
Yeah, he does have a strong leg, a long of 57 this season, a career long of 60.
So Jets timeout, 22 seconds left. Line of scrimmage is now the 49 in LA territory. Petty is back at the 50% mark on his completion rate, 9 of 18. But we asked Bowles what he wanted to see from Petty. Just wanted to see a little more poise, better footwork, better accuracy. He said that McCown has been a calming influence on Petty. On second down. Petty out of the pocket. Petty runs out of bounds with 15 seconds left, chased by Ingram. And another first down for New York.
They could use another maybe 10 yards to get Catanzaro at real comfortable range.
Line of scrimmage is now the 45. And 6 yards to get him into his target area. Right now you're looking at a 63-yard attempt. 15 seconds left. Winding down in this first half. Petty, low throw. Looking for Safarian Jenkins. Didn't have enough mustard on it.
You wonder if the hand is bothering him because that ball was thrown right down into the turf. Safarian Jenkins wide open here, and the ball just comes up way short right at his right leg.
12 seconds remaining on the clock.
Yeah, with that one timeout, they could throw the ball anywhere on the field.
Petty looks. Petty is sacked.
And that's the one thing they cannot afford to do.
Isaac Rochelle.
Rochelle's first NFL sack as he goes right by Kelvin Beachum.
Rochelle coming off the practice squad. Rookie out of Notre Dame, 7th round pick. And 5 seconds remain in this first half.
Well, he's known to have a strong arm, so obviously he can reach the end zone from this point.
The questions with that right hand, that wrist. The Chargers send 3 deep. Petty steps up. Petty lofts it. And it's intercepted. Picked off by Keenan Allen. And Allen gets tattooed as he crossed the 35-yard line. And that's how the half will end. And Shell is feeling the brunt of that hit. So a pick by Allen. Bryce Petty has now been intercepted in every single game he has started This his 6th career start. End of the first half, 7-0. The Chargers on top of the Jets. LA needs a win to stay in the playoff hunt. Halftime is next after first half highlights from Verizon and a word from your local station.
Up to date? Hey Siri, show me football scores.
Getting ready for second half action. The Chargers leading the Jets 7-0 as we welcome you back. Ian Eagle along with Dan Fouts, Evan Washburn down on the sidelines. We know what's at stake here for LA. They have to get a win to remain alive in the playoff chase. What about that first half performance?
Well, they're doing just enough to keep the Jets interested, with the way they're playing. And the Jets obviously offensively have got to get back to the running game. The best play was the 41-yarder by Powell, but it's been rough for Petty in that first half physically, getting hit on the arm there and then hitting his hand on the back of a helmet right there. So it'll be interesting to see how he handles the second half, but I can tell you, obviously, for a quarterback being hit on the arm like that and then on the hand, make it very difficult for him.
You broke your thumb? Similar situation?
Yeah, back against the Green Bay Packers when Ted Hendricks, the Stork, the Hall of Famer, was playing for the Packers just on a follow-through. He stuck his big meat hook out, and I hit my thumb on it, and snap she goes. End of the year for the Dandaroo.
Is that third person just now? That was third person. Kickoff rolls for the back of the end zone. Jets will have it at the 25. Let's check in with Evan Washburn.
Well, guys, when I spoke with Todd Bowles about Bryce Petty, he pointed once again to the footwork. Also said that the timing with wide receivers needs to improve. As for his right hand, guys, no added padding, no tape job as he came back out. Looks like he's just going to fight through it. What's up, Chris McCain? As for Anthony Lynn, he wants to see his special team stop committing penalties here. Oh, that was pretty funny. And also, you got to win one-on-one matchups, guys. The offensive line, he didn't like seeing Phillip Rivers hit that much, obviously, in the first half.
Would not have been as funny if you got sacked on the play. At least not as funny for you. Bilal Powell gets the call, hit by Corey Toomer, and a loss of 1. First half numbers, 188 total yards for LA. The Jets, 134, 1 of 7 on third downs. They turned it over 2 times, including that pass on a Hail Mary from Bryce Petty, intercepted by Keenan Allen, the wide receiver. 2nd and 11 now for the Jets. It's Powell again. Cut to the outside, trying to turn the corner, and he's out of bounds. Toomer again ranging over for the Chargers. So the Jets will face a 3rd and long on their opening series of the second half.
You can see they're trying to get back to the running game, but they're trying to go wide against the Chargers. Chargers have had more difficulty because of injuries to their inside linebackers defending the run between the tackles. And that's where Powell hit the Chargers for that 41-yarder in the first half.
Denzel Perriman is done for the year with a hamstring injury. Missed the first 8 games of the season with an ankle injury. It's now a 3rd and 9. Petty fires to the outside. It's caught by Safarian Jenkins, but picks up just a couple. Not nearly enough for the first down. Hit by Jaleel Adai, and a quiet 3 and out for New York.
It's about 6 or 7 quiet 3 and outs for Petty and the Jets. Poor choice of going to Safarian Jenkins on that play, because even with the catch, the ball was thrown so far to the outside it led him right out of bounds, way short of the first down.
Benjamin, the return man, at the 23. The kick from Edwards, and that one bounces along the sideline and out of bounds. Chargers will have it with a 7-0 lead here early in the 3rd quarter. Happy holidays, everybody, including Evan Washburn. Oh, hi, Chris McCain. He wants in. Phillip Rivers is closing in on 50,000 career yards. He put up 147 in that first half. Petty just 81 and a pick. Rivers came in 329 yards away from 50,000. Would become 9th player to hit that mark. Fake it. Rivers on a screen for Gordon. Gordon to the outside. Gordon makes a cut. Gordon finally brought down in Jets territory by Jordan Jenkins at the 30. 39-yard catch and run for Melvin Gordon.
He had a 49-yarder on a similar play last week against Kansas City. Watch him come out here on the screen. And he's got guys out in front. Nice job there by Kenny Wiggins to get him to the corner.
He took that sharp angle and picked up extra yards. Melvin Gordon now with 52 catches on the season. First down handoff to Oliver, nothing there. No gain on the play, hit by Pennell. Second and long here for Los Angeles. One problem for the Chargers in recent weeks, they have not scored in the fourth quarter in their last 3 games. Got a 7-0 lead here. Third quarter action from MetLife. Shotgun for Rivers. Second and 10. Low throw, dealing with the pressure. Darren Lee put the heat on Rivers, and Rivers having a rather animated chat with Brandon Oliver.
Well, Oliver missed a blitz pickup that time. You talked about the blitz by Demario Davis. Here he comes, and Darren Lee as well. And Rivers let Oliver know. Of course, Oliver's not played a whole lot this year, and obviously Rivers upset.
Melvin Gordon back in there, now facing a 3rd and 10. Motion man Benjamin. Rivers underneath, simultaneous, and the ball was not caught by Williams. And Williams is shaken up. Buster screen with the hit. The rookie out of Clemson who just never got on track this season.
That big hit by a screen just explodes on the rookie Williams.
And now both teams are checking on Mike Williams, who grabbed his neck.
You can see he hit the side of his head on the turf.
They help Mike Williams to his feet. He's in the tent. Concussion protocol. 47-yard field goal attempt for the newly acquired Nick Rose, replacing Travis Coons, trying to add to the Chargers' lead. Clemens holds it from 47 yards away. It is no good, and off by a mile.
Just a little bit outside.
And this has been an issue that has plagued the Chargers throughout the season. They probably wouldn't be sitting at 7-7 if not for the kicking problems.
Well, it's a good snap. Clemens gets it down cleanly, and this is just a whiff here. Tremendous shank. Almost a coffin corner field goal try.
Not even close. And when we asked Anthony Lynn about the move to Rose, he said, hey, we want to attempt 45-yarders, 50-yarders, and we felt that he would give us a better chance on the longer attempts. Powell, collision at the 40-yard line, hit by Bosa, 3-yard pickup. Tonight, the Catholic monks who have been protecting ancient religious works from ISIS. A survival story tonight on 60 Minutes, only CBS. Second down for the Jets. Anthony Lynn trying to get to week 17 with a chance at a playoff berth. They'll be home for Oakland in Los Angeles. It's Powell again. And he got hit by Pollard, 3-yard pickup for Powell. Let's check out with Evan Washburn.
Well, guys, a couple Jets injuries to update you on. We saw Brandon Shell tackle Keenan Allen at the end of the first half there. He is out with a head injury from that play. Also, Leonard Williams dealing with a back injury. His return is questionable. Still waiting on Mike Williams. The word on him, he's still in the tent. Keep you updated when I have something.
All right, thanks, Evan. Qualley is in at right tackle for the Jets. Fake the jet sweep. Instead, it's a toss for Powell. He's got the angle. Powell He's got blockers. Powell working the sidelines. Powell goes all the way. Touchdown, Jets. Big run for Bilal Powell, 57 yards. And the Jets are an extra point away from tying it up.
A great job of getting out in front. A really creative play as well. But here's Kelvin Beachum, and the center is Jonathan Harrison. Watch Beachum first lead the way as he gets the kick out on Williams, but all the way down the field, number 78, Harrison, gets the key block there. Harrison, who goes 300 pounds, out in front the whole way, and he gets Powell to the end zone after 57 yards.
The one area of concern for the Chargers, stopping the run against this Jets team. It took a little while, but Powell has hurt them. Extra point is good for Catanzaro with a flag down.
And this is interesting because this appears it's against the Chargers for maybe lining up over the center. So the Jets can accept this, move the ball to the 2-yard line. If they want to go for a 2 here and break this tie, they have that opportunity.
Personal foul, defense, the illegal contact against the long snapper. That 15-yard penalty will be added to kickoff. The PAT is good.
So the Jets will take the tie at 7 apiece here in the third. Bilal Powell, who has given so much credit to Anthony Lynn when he was his position coach with the Jets, and Powell is burning his former coach today. 123 yards on the ground and the long touchdown run. The Jets kick it through the back of the end zone, so they didn't put the Chargers into a precarious position.
Let's go back to the penalty. Here's Chris McCain and Isaac Rochelle. They're both going to jump on Hennessy's back, trying to block this extra point. What I don't understand is the Jets are 5-9. You accept this penalty, you move the ball to the 1-yard line and go for 2. The Chargers weak against the rush. Powell is averaging 10 yards a carry, and you settle for an extra point in a tie ball game instead of going for the win when you're 5-9.
Well, the lead, 10 minutes to go in the third, but Todd Bowles electing to keep the point on the board. Melvin Gordon, strong running to the 35-yard line with Jamal Adams there defensively. Bowles has talked about the progress he believes this team has made this year, young group. He thinks the chemistry has been obvious since training camp and their ability to handle adversity. But the team is 5-9 with the final game at New England next week.
And offensively here in the second half, they're playing to their strength against the Chargers' weakness, and that's the running game. And Powell is really paying it off with the help of that offensive line.
Second and short. Benjamin, motion man, pitcher, Gordon. The speed for Gordon on the outside, and he's out of bounds in Jets territory at the 47-yard line. Tebby with a key block, 19-yard rip for Gordon.
Gordon's 6'1" and 215 pounds, and I think he surprises people with his quickness and his strength at times. He's a tough guy to bring down, and he has got a couple of real long runs this year. He went 87 yards against the Patriots earlier.
997 yards rushing last year. He's got 997 yards right now this season. Rivers to throw it. The catch, staying on his feet. Keenan Allen curls it upfield. And that's a first down for LA. 12 yards for the Chargers.
Really good balance by Keenan Allen. Put his left hand down on the ground to maintain his balance and pick up the first down.
$8:15 to go here in the third quarter. Clock is ticking. And Philip Rivers has gone over 4,000 yards for the 9th time in his career. What a run. 14th year in the NFL for Rivers. Running play. It's Gordon. He's buried at the 35 by McClendon. You know, that throwing motion from Rivers, you always wondered, is that hereditary? Well, Rivers volunteered as an assistant coach on the Poway Chargers. The quarterback on that team was none other than his son, Gunnar. Take a look. Gunnar, the toss. They win the county title. Did that look similar to you?
Yeah, and I love the name. He is a gunner.
I think we just made Gunner's Christmas with that video on TV. Rivers, it's caught by Gates. Sliding grab at the 20-yard line by Antonio Gates. 15 yards. Oh, there you go. That's side by side. Gunner and Phillip.
And even the facial expression is the same.
Now that's Gunner-esque.
You know, a lot of people, when he was coming out of North Carolina State, were criticizing his throwing motion. And I looked at his stats, and he completed 70% of his passes his senior year at NC State. So what's wrong with his throwing motion?
Flags down.
Doesn't matter what it looks like. It matters if it's caught.
False start. Offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
It is Barksdale, who was a question mark in this game with a hip injury. So back it up to the 25-yard line for LA.
And in talking to Phillip about Gunner earlier this year, and we got word that the throwing motion was the same, and Phillips was wondering, should I try to, correct it? I said, why? it works for you, it'll work for him, and obviously we saw that long toss from young Gunner. Way to go, Gunner.
And the Chargers wins. Rivers has 14 touchdowns and 1 pick, and the loss is 10 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. That one is caught. Sean McGrath, the beard, hauls it in at the 2.
They're going to make it difficult to see if the officials want to review this play.
First and goal. Handoff. Gordon is wrapped up. And the Jets end up with a football, but it's ruled down. Buster Screen came away with it. The officials immediately stepped in and whistled the play dead.
And the back judge, Steve Patrick, came in and was... there's the hit by Lee. Check out the ball here. From that angle, you can see the ball come out, but you can't see where his knees are.
Ball got kicked out by one of his own teammates, it appeared, right at the end of the play. Second and goal. Gates in motion. Handoff. Gordon spins. Gordon breaks the plane for the touchdown. The Chargers regain the lead. And it's Melvin Gordon taking it in.
Going off the right side, you can see the pull there by Kenny Wiggins, the lead blocked by Derek Watt. And at the last instant, I'm not sure he ever broke the plane.
Well, all scoring plays are reviewed, so they will take a look. For Gordon, that would be touchdown number 8. And it has been confirmed upstairs. 24 touchdowns the last 2 years, second only to Ezekiel Elliott, as the extra point is good. The Chargers take a 14-7 lead. 4:57 to go in the third. Gordon hits Pater for LA. Does Santa think he's going incognito with the sunglasses? We know it's you.
Those are Foster Grants, aren't they?
They are. Nice pom-poms. 14-7. Chargers, 4:57 to go in the third. Gordon with a touchdown. After the Powell run, Chargers answered. Phillip Rivers is 18 of 30, 236 yards and a touchdown. Gordon 68 yards rushing and the touchdown. Rose to kick off to Natson, 9 yards deep. And he's not going to take it out. So what's at stake here for LA? To win the AFC West, they have to go 2-0. Kansas City has to go 0-2. For a wild card, Chargers have to go 2-0. They need Buffalo to go 1-1. They need Tennessee to lose both games. Right now for the Chargers, scoreboard watching. Kansas City's got a 23-13 lead on Miami. Buffalo and New England tied at 16, and the Rams on top of Tennessee 20-13. So things could fall into place to make next week important for the Chargers. A hole for Forte, and he runs through it with a flag thrown at the 22.
Chargers were lining up offsides.
Offside. Defense, number 20. That penalty's declined. Result of the play stands. Second down.
That's the rookie Desmond King. Decline. 9-yard pickup for Forte.
You can see here's King right here. He's had a lot of success getting after opposing quarterbacks. He has 4 sacks on the season. That time obviously was heading towards Petty that time.
2nd and 1. Not a lot of room for Bilal Powell, and did not get the first down. No gain on the play. Hit by a die and Toomer. So brings up 3rd down and short for the Jets. Jets are 4-3 at home, averaging 25.6 points per game here at MetLife, but on the road 1-6, 15 points per game for Todd Bowles' squad away from home. All 3 of their home losses were 1-possession games. 3rd and 1. Run the option. Juggled. Extending for the first down. Chargers don't believe that he got it. And he did not. It is ruled short. Bilal Powell.
Well, let's check out the pitch and why he had to bobble it. You can see it was just a little bit low as he extends here. Looked like his right foot may have been out of bounds. But running the option to the short side of the field, things have to be absolutely perfect in order to pick up this first down. And I think the bobble cost him.
Second time today, the Jets had a 2nd and 1 and a 3rd and 1 and couldn't convert.
2 of 10 now on 3rd downs for the Jets.
Lachlan Edwards, high sailing kick. Benjamin settles under it, and he brings it in at the 16-yard line, 51-yard punt. Rivers and the Chargers now operating with a 7-point lead, 3:35 remaining in the 3rd. Next Sunday, final games of the regular season on the final day of the year. Could be do or die depending upon what happens today. Ring in the new year with doubleheader action. And don't forget to join JB, Phil, Coach, Nate, and Boomer. Complete playoff picture and more on the NFL Today at 12 Eastern on CBS. Chargers are 7-7. Just trying to stay in the hunt. Make the handoff. Rivers fires downfield. It's complete to Tyrell Williams. And Williams hit down low by Jamal Adams. 15-yard gain through the air. First down, Los Angeles.
And that ties Tyrell Williams for the lead for the Chargers in receiving today. The other guys tied with, how about Antonio Gates with 5 catches and 1 touchdown. A lot of concern with Hunter Henry being injured, but when you got a future Hall of Famer like Gates, no problem.
First down run, Gordon slammed down. He was not going to break away from Josh Martin. Jets playing without Muhammad Wilkerson once again, a healthy scratch. Decision made by Todd Bowles and the organization. Yeah, there is also another part of that equation. If Wilkerson were to get injured in the final 2 games of the season, a serious injury, his contract would be guaranteed for next year. You're talking about to the tune of $16 million or so.
Yeah, it was a smart financial move to make him inactive today and obviously next week as well.
Jets will be at New England to wrap up the season. Rivers on the line to Keenan Allen. Covered by Claiborne on the outside, and Allen comes up short of the first down. Wilkerson, 7th year with the Jets, Pro Bowler in 2015, signed to a 5-year, $86 million deal. Late for some team meetings. He was benched a few games ago against Kansas City and then didn't make the trip altogether against New Orleans last week after another lateness. 3rd and 1 for LA. 4 catches, 43 yards for the Pro Bowler Allen. Out of the gun, Rivers. Low throw. He had Benjamin open on 3rd and 1. And Rivers shaking his head that did not work.
Well, and with the catch, Benjamin has the first down. The ball is just, Rivers really never set his feet. Trying to get the ball out in a hurry. Talk about footwork for young Bryce Petty. Well, sometimes it affects a veteran quarterback like Rivers as well.
Here's Kaiser. Wobbly punt. Matson backs away. And it's down by the Chargers inside the Jets 20. 42 yards after the roll. 1:30 to go here in the 3rd. Jets trailing the Chargers by 7.
It's been a good afternoon for Bilal Powell. 14 carries, 123 yards. This 41-yarder in the first half. But the teamwork here and the effort by the big center, Jonathan Harrison, leading the way. Just outstanding.
So the Jets still very much within striking distance here in a game the Chargers have to have. Powell on the sideline to open up this series. It is Forte with Big Thomas in front of him. Play action. Petty gets out of trouble. Petty to run. The mobility of Petty, and he's out of bounds. Zigzags across the 45.
And no flag. The Jets on the sidelines wondering why there's no flag after that 24-yard gain.
The chase down and then the hit late by Philon.
He was on the white. He steps out of bounds right here. Simultaneous contact there with Philon. Probably why the official said it was okay.
Philon getting the start today for the injured Corey Liuget. Suffered a knee injury in the second half last week against Kansas City. Final 52 seconds of the 3rd. Running play to Powell, short side of the field, and Powell is stacked up. It's Chris McCain all over him. No gain. Total yards, 163 rushing yards for the Jets, 70 through the air. I told you about the scoring numbers at home. Yardage numbers as well, 386 at home. They average 234 on the road. Another running play, Chargers ready. And it's Mebane taking care of Powell. He swings him down for a loss of 3. And that is the end of the 3rd quarter. The Chargers 14, the Jets 7. Welcome back to the Meadowlands after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. We start the 4th quarter here at MetLife. The Chargers lead the Jets 14-7. The Jets are minus 73 in the 4th this season. They've been outscored 137-64. 3rd and 13. Catch made by Safarian Jenkins. Tries to make a move, and the Chargers would have none of it. Desmond King has really put together a nice season. First year in the NFL. Los Angeles injury, though, at the 45-yard line. They're looking at the right leg.
Adrian Phillips.
It is, and Phillips was coming off an injury from last week. Suffered an ankle injury.
He's so valuable to the Charger defense because of his versatility.
His wife, Camille, came out of the stands last week in Kansas City to check on him. And we asked Adrian about it. He said, yeah, my wife was concerned about me. She is a med student, so she had medical privileges to be out there. I'm not sure the league saw it that way, but Camille did ask if she could jump over the stands and then was told she would have to leave the sidelines. Phillips is up on his feet. Chargers have held the Jets. And Lachlan Edwards, his 8th punt of the day, averaging 48 yards per kick, with Benjamin back to return it at the 10. Benjamin brings it in at the 8. Benjamin, he's got room and major speed. Benjamin, goodbye! Flags down. Nobody will catch Travis Benjamin. Touchdown, Chargers.
Maybe the only thing that'll catch him is the official who threw the flag.
Flag is down at the 23. Benjamin shrugging his shoulders.
Well, the official's hat is off. That indicates that the gunner went out of bounds, and perhaps he didn't come back immediately.
During the return, holding, return team. Number 48, probably be enforced from the spot of the foul. First down, Los Angeles.
Nick Dzubnar. And it's as if it never happened. 91 yards. Wiping the slate.
And it just takes down the long snapper, Hennessy. Tremendous job, though, by Benjamin to see that hole open up right in the middle of the coverage of the Jets.
Instead of a 21-7 lead, the Chargers will have the football deep in their own territory. 14-13 to play here in the 4th. 6 penalties costing the Chargers 52 yards. Line of scrimmage is the 13th. Williams, motion man, shotgun for Phillip Rivers. It's a run to Gordon. Melvin Gordon crosses the 20, and Gordon is over 1,000 yards for the first time in his career. NFL Today update. Let's go to New York.
Patriots capitalize on a pass interference.
No James White, no Burkhead, no problem. Mike Gillislee up against his former team. He gets in for the 1-yard TD. The Pats, they lead 23-16.
Back to Iron Eagle.
And Gillislee had been a healthy scratch for a long stretch. You just never know when your number's going to get called. Injuries have forced Gillislee back into the lineup. He takes advantage of it. Patriots have the lead. Gordon again. Gordon dives. David Bass there defensively. 4 yards and a first down for Los Angeles. Seven-point lead for the Chargers.
It's good to see Mike Williams back in the lineup here after passing the protocol.
Williams got hit in the neck and then slammed his helmet on the turf, was helped off the field, but back in there, and Rivers will look in that direction. Rivers pump, Rivers throws it away. Allen double covered. Cooper the pressure on Rivers. We check in with Evan Washburn.
Guys, update. Leonard Williams is now out of this game with a back injury. And as for Adrian Phillips, he re-injured that right ankle. Nothing official on his status, but he has headed into the locker room for further evaluation.
All right, thanks, Ev. Coney Ely has seen more action in the absence of Leonard Williams, playing without Muhammad Wilkerson as well. A lot of Pennell and Cooper. 2nd and 10 for Los Angeles. Here's Rivers. Sidearm, offline. Keenan Allen felt he was held by Claiborne.
Let's see if Rivers has a point here. A little contact there, and then the hold. Yeah, that's a good point by Rivers.
Grabbed the jersey.
Grabbed the jersey, got away with it. Very subtle, but effective for Claiborne.
Fourth in the league in receiving yards entering week 16. Keenan Allen over 1,200 on the season. 3rd and 10. Rivers, incomplete. Allen slides down and it banged off his helmet.
Yeah, he was open, but his footing, he just loses it. And this ball is going to hit him, as you said, Ian, right in the face mask. Frustration.
15th punt combined between the two teams. Kaiser kicking to JoJo Natson. Major hang time. Natson from the 21. He gets drilled as he crossed the 30-yard line. 55-yard punt, 9-yard return. Anthony Lynn, head coach of the Chargers, spent 6 years as an assistant coach with the New York Jets. He was hired by Rex Ryan in 2009. Jets have a 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line. Fake the handoff. Petty sets, fires. Robbie Anderson. Anderson hit by Pollard, but he picks up 16 before getting tackled.
Yeah, really good timing between Petty and Anderson on this curl route. You can see it when Anderson makes his cut. Casey Hayward's about 5 yards behind him. That type of action will get the Jets feeling good about their chances here on this drive. Positive play on 1st down out to midfield.
Petty has cracked 100 yards through the air. 1st and 10, running play, Forte, and he is ridden down by Pollard. So when we asked Lynn about his time with the Jets, he said he grew a lot. Not only running back coach, eventually assistant head coach, which meant more responsibility, learned about other aspects of the organization, and that really helped him when he started interviewing for head coaching jobs. One of those interviews was with the Jets when Rex Ryan was let go, and Lynn said it was an odd situation based on his relationship with Rex. He didn't get the job. He eventually followed Ryan to Buffalo, but it got the word out that he was a legitimate candidate for head coaching positions. Petty is sacked. Addae leading that Charger break to the quarterback. Kyle Emanuel in there as well.
Well, here's Addae on the edge here, and he comes free. It's a safety blitz, and the quarterback has got to see this and get to his outlet receiver. Bad block that time by Lawrence Thomas. And Addae picks up his 1st sack of the season.
He's going to get a halvesy on that with Emanuel. 3rd and 17 for New York. Petty deep drop. Tosses underneath to Forte and picks his way across the 45 for 7, but it's 4th and 10.
And that promising drive that started with the completion to Anderson, negated by the sack.
And we'll hit 10 minutes to play in this 4th quarter with the Chargers holding on to a 7-point lead.
What's the record for most punts in a game? Do we know that yet? I think we're getting close, though.
We'll get that number for you, Dan.
Thank you.
This will be punt number 9 for Edwards. I think I did the game, truly.
Is that right?
Yeah, I believe so.
So it's your fault. What's happening here?
Let's put it this way. It's not on the resume reel. Kaiser has kicked it 7 times, so this is now 16 punts. Benjamin fair catch. And he brings it in at the 15-yard line. 14-7, Chargers. Merry Christmas, everybody, from all of us here at CBS. 14-7, the Chargers leading the Jets with 9:38 remaining in the 4th quarter. Rivers working from the gun. Hand off to Gordon, accelerates, and Gordon is chopped down after the gain of 2.5 by Josh Martin. Well, that's Chris Byram, and those are his actual ears. Yep, right in there. Oh, no, right. Oh, way, hey, Chris,
man.
come on.
Jeez.
waxy buildup.
He's plugged in.
He is. We'll call it 2nd and 7. We're still working on that answer for you, Dan, on those punts combined.
I think we got time. 9 minutes to go.
Philip Rivers making sure everybody knows the play here. Play clock's down to 1. Just got the play off and Rivers throws it away. There was nobody near
This
that
is gonna
pass.
be intentional grounding. There's the flag.
Darren Lee, the pressure on Rivers. So after all that,
Intentional grounding. Offense, number 17. The penalty is placed at the spot of the foul. It is a loss of down. Brings up 3rd down.
now Rivers really upset.
It's hard to tell at times who he is upset about. Whether it's the defense, the officials, his own teammates. But he doesn't cuss, doesn't use bad language. But he expresses himself.
3rd and 20 for the Chargers. Rivers out of his own end zone. It's hauled in by Gates, and he's dropped at the 12 by Buster Screen. So the Chargers will punt. Chances to maybe put this game away. They have not come through. And the door is still very much open for the Jets with 8:28 to play, down by 7.
And the Jets playing solid defense without 2 of their starters up front, Wilkerson and Williams out. Their defense has kept the Jets in this game.
So Kaiser will punt it. Combined punt record 31. We're not going to get there. Natson doesn't field it cleanly. It rolls all the way back. And JoJo Natson gets back some of the yards. There was a crunching block. Natson is out of bounds at the 30-yard line. 63-yard punt, 5-yard return. So for the Chargers, to win the AFC West, they've got to win both games. Kansas City would have to lose both games. That doesn't appear relevant. To get the wild card, they still have to win both games, and they need helps. The Rams have scored to take a 27-23 lead on Tennessee. That's huge for Los Angeles. New England getting it done against Buffalo. Kansas City will cruise to the AFC West title. First down for the Jets. There's room for Powell. Bilal Powell finally brought down at midfield by Trey Boston. 21-yard run by Powell. NFL Today update, JB and Nate.
Patriots stretching out.
That's right, and Tom Brady, they're trying to stretch this lead. He hits Deion Lewis on the screen route. 12-yard play right there, scored on their last 5 possessions. The Pats, they lead 30-16.
I am Dan and Evan.
Well, it was tight. It is tight no longer. New England in control. First down for the Jets. Forte going up the middle, not much there. 2-yard pickup for Matt Forte. We approach 7 minutes to play in the 4th. 14-7, LA in front.
And the Jets start this drive with a positive run by Bilal Powell, just as they started the last drive with a successful first down play to Robbie Anderson. See if they can capitalize now in good field position with a lot of time left.
Chargers are only allowing 18.2 points per game. That's 3rd best in the NFL. Another give to Forte, bangs his way to the 45, then pushed backwards. Forward progress will get him to the 44. Joey Bosa in on that hit.
I almost wonder now if the Jets don't convert on this 3rd down, if they would go for it on 4th down. Again, you go back to the fact they're 5-9. What do you got to lose?
3rd down passing has not been pretty for Petty. This is a 3rd and 5. 6 minutes to play in the 4th. Petty forced out of the pocket. Loops around. Petty's got room. Petty The angle. He's there for the first down. Needed 5, got 5. And this drive remains alive for New York.
They marked it right on the sticks, too. There's a couple times today now that Petty has used his legs to pick up positive yardage. Had a 24-yarder in the first half, and that huge third down conversion there.
Clock is moving, 5:37 and counting left in this fourth quarter. Petty has 33 yards rushing, 107 yards passing. Run for Powell. And he's wrapped up by Bosa. 2-yard gain, Mebane in there as well for LA. Some words exchanged. Powell heads to the sideline.
You got to give the Jets offensive lines some credit today in protecting Bryce Petty. He's been sacked 3 times, but the big sack guys, Ingram and Bosa, have 0 sacks on the afternoon.
Some new personnel in there. Darius Stewart is in. JoJo Natson is in as well. High snap. Petty, it throws the timing off. And he makes the connection for a short gain of 2 yards to Jermaine Kearse, and a flag thrown at the 29.
Casey Hayward saying it's against the Jets. It was a heck of a catch by Petty on that high snap from Harrison.
.442 remaining. You wonder if that was a designed running play, and that's why the players were downfield looking to block. And they had to change it on the fly. Clay Blakeman, that was a pump fake.
Ineligible man downfield, offense number 79. It's a 5-yard penalty. We'll replay second down.
It's Qualley who's in for Brandon Shell.
And it looked like it was going to be a handoff to JoJo Natson. Natson goes by, and Petty heads up throwing this ball down the field, but you got to give Cavalli a bit of a break there. Thought it was a running play, which it was designed to do.
2nd and 13. 4 penalties costing the Jets 29 yards. We have 4:42 remaining in a 7-point game. Petty throws to a spot at the 35-yard line and connects with Safarian Jenkins for 7. So now it's a 3rd and 6. Petty is 14 of 25, 114 yards. The interception that he threw on the Hail Mary at the end of the first half.
Interesting, they took Safarian Jenkins out and replaced him with backup tight end Eric Tomlinson.
As you mentioned, could be 4-down territory here for the Jets, even if they don't get it on 3rd and 6. Deep shot. And that's over the head of Kearse with a flag thrown. Petty got drilled.
Yeah, it's going to be roughing the passer. Petty a little shaken up as he peels himself off the turf.
Roughing the passer. Defense, number 99. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's a huge call on Bosa.
Well, it's not the first hit. It's taking him to the ground. Is what the penalty is. First hit was a fair hit, but you cannot tackle the quarterback and drive him to the ground. That shot's okay, but this here is not.
8 penalties against the Chargers. It sets the Jets up at the LA 20-yard line. .359 remaining. It's a running play for Forte, and he's gang tackled after a gain of 1. Coming up, State Farm postgame show. JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, Coach Cowher. The latest NFL scores and highlights all coming up on the State Farm postgame show. Chargers trying to hold on here.
It's the first time they've been in the red zone all day.
Jets have the longest active red zone scoring streak in the league. 21 straight red zone possessions. They put points on the board, but a field goal doesn't really help them. They need a touchdown. Powell turns the corner, but only gains 2. Toomer makes sure that Powell couldn't work that sideline.
And again, you're thinking about going for it on 4th down. Not enough time to kick a field goal, and when you're facing Phillip Rivers and his ability to kill the clock at the end of a game, I suspect that if the Jets don't get it here on 3rd down, which they've had all kinds of trouble today, they would go for it on 4th down.
It's a 3rd and 7. Petty delivers. Incomplete. Safarian Jenkins, the target. 4th down for New York.
Yeah, this was similar to a play in the first half where the timing between Safarian Jenkins and Petty is just off. Petty did not give Safarian Jenkins an ample time to get open. He's still struggling to get by Jatavius Brown. The ball sails over their head.
The kicker was ready to run onto the field. Chandler Catanzaro, he was pulled back. The Jets will go for it. Petty on 4th down. Petty hooks a pass. End zone. Incomplete. Robbie Anderson, the intended receiver, defended by the Pro Bowler Casey Hayward. And the Chargers defense holds up. The Jets hand it over to Los Angeles on downs, unable to convert. 14-7. 3:07 on the clock. Chargers 14, the Jets 7. First down for LA after the Jets could not convert on 4th down. A run for Gordon. And create some room for himself up the middle for a couple.
Well, talk about throwing your receiver open. This is just lack of experience here. This ball is thrown to the inside where Hayward already has coverage. If it's back shouldered over here, Anderson has a shot at the touchdown.
That was the 4th down throw that Petty could not connect with his receiver. And down to the field with a potentially serious injury, Evan Washburn.
Well, no, guys, it's Bryce Petty, just the frustration of that play and having multiple guys come up to him, including Austin Safarian Jenkins, and that was a tension, as I mentioned, or as you mentioned, somebody limping off here, but this was more about the frustration from Petty. I'll get you an update when I have it.
Yeah, it's Melvin Gordon who was limping off for the Chargers, Evan. Thanks. Rivers play fake. Rivers, deep ball. Rivers on time to Tyrell Williams. One official had it clean. The other felt it was on the sideline.
Yeah, I think the official came in late who's saying it's incomplete is correct. Williams got his left foot down, but it looked like his right foot came down on the out-of-bounds marker. Watch the left foot. That's inbounds there, but this right foot right on the white.
One in, yeah, one out. The toes touch the white. So now LA faces a 3rd and 8 with 2:56 left.
Yeah, we talked about the Jets' struggles on 3rd down. The Chargers haven't been much better. They're 4 of 13. Good defense by the Jets.
On 3rd and 8. Rivers steps up. Rivers, rainbow. It's caught. Keenan Allen for a first down. And a big one, covering 20 yards for Los Angeles.
This is a real gutsy catch by Keenan Allen. This ball is up in the air for a long time after he comes out of his break. And he knows he's in the middle of 3 Jets and still is able to hang on. Huge 3rd down conversion.
Meanwhile, Gordon has emerged from the pop-up tent, was limping, and has settled in along the sideline with his helmet off. Chargers have 2:10 to play and a 7-point lead. Brandon Oliver, and he is dropped after the gain of 3.5, and that's going to take us to the 2-minute warning. 14-7. Chargers lead the Jets, trying to put this one on ice. Coming up, State Farm postgame show. JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, Coach Cowher, the latest NFL scores and highlights, all coming up on the State Farm postgame show. 2nd and 6 for the Chargers with 2 minutes left. Oliver in the backfield. A jump by New York. Flag comes down late. Oliver crosses the 45-yard line. It was Xavier Cooper who was trying to get an advantage for the Jets.
Offside. Defense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
Send it downstairs to Evan Washburn.
Well, I'm now happy to talk to you about Melvin Gordon. It's his left ankle that was affected. The good news is he has his helmet on. Look, by the time and score here, he's probably not going back in this game. His official word is questionable. He seemed to hyperextend it a bit. He went into the tent. No extra tape, no ice or anything like that. But again, the left ankle for Melvin Gordon.
Well, good sign, especially if next week's game means something for the Los Angeles Chargers, trying to set themselves up for a potential playoff run if things break a certain way. 2nd and 2. Oliver plunges, and he's right at the line to gain enough for a first down. Jets have 2 timeouts remaining. We're down to 1:36 left.
I'm surprised the Jets aren't using a timeout here.
No timeout taken, so the Chargers will take all the time that they need. Down to 10 seconds left on the play clock. Break the huddle, no rush for LA. New set of downs to work with. Handoff, Oliver. Thrown down by Martin. And again,
no timeouts.
The Chargers can just run out the clock here. If the Jets don't use any timeouts, the game will be over. And now a timeout has been called with 58 seconds to play. Jets have 1 timeout remaining.
Yeah, they lost about a half a minute there.
Now, between the previous play and this one, if the goal was not to use it on the previous play, that's fine. That's your philosophy. But the second the play is over, you got to use the timeout. That was 6 or 7 seconds that elapsed after the play was whistled dead on the Oliver run. They've added time, now 1:02. 2nd and 13 for LA. Basic premise right now for the Chargers, just hold on to the football. It's Oliver. No running room there. Pennell greets him. The Jets do not use the timeout. We're down to 50 seconds. So look at the differential.
This is unbelievable.
There's a 17-second differential. The Chargers are just standing around.
I think Bowles is anticipating a pass here that he's hoped would be incomplete maybe. It would stop the clock. But this is very strange. There's no reason why Rivers would throw the ball.
We're down to 20 seconds left. They run it. Oliver holds on to it. And now the timeout is used with 15 seconds left.
Oliver's a real good guy to give the ball to. He has never fumbled in his NFL career.
The Chargers 14, the Jets 7. Los Angeles will punt with 15 seconds to play. The Chargers have to win to stay in the playoff hunt and then still need help. It's not a case where Anthony Lynn's team controls its own destiny. They're at 7-7. A victory puts them at 8-7. Kansas City clinches the division with a win. The wild card will then fall to Tennessee's results and Buffalo. Ravens are in position, a win and they're in next week against Cincinnati after the victory yesterday over the Colts. Natson, 7 seconds. Natson still running. Natson is finally tackled inside the 5, and with 3 seconds left, Derek Watt makes the play on special teams. Jets have no timeouts remaining. They trail by 7.
And we're going to get one of those multiple lateral type of plays, perhaps.
Yeah, I'm sensing Cal Stanford without the band.
John Elway still hasn't gotten over that one.
Line of scrimmage is the 5.
But Elway could reach the other end zone from here.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
Final gasp for the Jets. Petty steps up. Tosses to Robbie Anderson. Anderson kicks it back out. And that'll do it. The Chargers take care of business and get the win they needed against the New York Jets. 14-7 the final. Chargers improve to 8-7. The Jets fall to 5-10. Close friends Todd Bowles and Anthony Lynn meet at midfield. So for Los Angeles, the win puts them in the hunt, but they need help from others, and that includes the Rams against Tennessee. The Chargers still have a pulse. Anthony Lynn's squad gets it done here at MetLife, 14-7. For Dan Fouts, Evan Washburn, the rest of our NFL on CBS crew, Ian Eagle saying so long from the Meadowlands. Merry Christmas. We'll go to New York and the State Farm postgame show.